Our headline today comes to us from a website called Finbold, finbold.com. Finbold did something very bold, OG. They decided to get AI involved in the investing game. So they got ChatGPT involved with creating a portfolio. This piece is written by Andreja Stojanovic. Andreja writes, the stock market has overall been doing well.
It's been doing okay.
As we're recording this, I think we're at all-time highs with the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and the Dow, which is a great place to be.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes, this says with the S&P 500, Dow Jones continuously rising, with the exception of a brief correction this year. Was it a correction? I don't think it was.
No.
Was it enough to be a correction?
No, not even close.
Went down slightly. But anyway, we quibble. Nevertheless, he writes, there have been some caveats to this performance, with one of the biggest and perhaps most worrying given the historical parallels being that much of the rise has been driven by a handful of mostly tech stocks, which have in some cases seen three-digit surges in 2024. Under these circumstances, the strategy most commonly recommended to regular investors by Warren Buffett is an investment in a broad index fund. And he has the hot take. He says that may not be the best option. And Finbold, in its search for strong portfolio compositions, decided to consult the most advanced version of OpenAI's flagship artificial intelligence, ChatGPT-4. So they asked ChatGPT-4 to create a portfolio for them, OG.
Okay.
And what's interesting is ChatGPT said, well, first of all, what do you think that AI would say the best way to construct a portfolio would be?
Oh, broadly based, diversified, blah, 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 blah.
Well, they actually said it should be broadly based, which is interesting because so AI originally goes to what you and I know, OG, the diversification, whether you're trying to make money or not lose money, still going to be your buddy. So AI immediately goes to diversification for the win. And I think this is an important point because if you're trying to make money big time quickly, and you're trying to beat indexes, which is what this is trying to do, and we'll get to that in a second, under diversify. Because the fewer positions you have, the more it's going to go up. And conversely, of course, the more it's going to go down. You're going to have more what they call standard deviation in your portfolio. So if you're trying to get rich quick, under diversify. But OG, I think people, but I think people that are trying to get rich quick, OG, are missing the other half of that equation. Like what comes up might not always go up.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny if you look at the large amounts of like insanely wealthy people, right? CEOs, and I'm talking about people with hundreds of millions of dollars. And obviously if you've got a couple $1 million by all calculations, you're also insanely wealthy, but I'm saying like, crazy, like $100 million people. So they're super concentrated in one thing. Right. They started a company and all of their money went into building that company and being successful. Amazon, right? Or Microsoft, or they were professional athletes. So all of their energy went into that one particular thing, which is great because if you are successful in creating the next Amazon, you will be as wealthy as, what's his name? Bezos.
That one guy.
That one guy with the stuff.
That B word.
Yeah. But what people miss with all of that is all of the chances or all of the times where the stories get blown up. It's like, how many Amazons were there before there was Amazon? How many Amazons were there after Amazon that we don't know about that just nuked, financial success? And Warren Buffett says, if he was investing, he would just diversify it, right? He's told his wife to diversify. Well, yeah, if you want to stay rich, then you diversify it into an S&P 500 fund, right? Like you just go, I'm taking all my my marbles and I'm going home. And you see this a lot with people who have like stock options, or they work in tech and they work for a small company that's a startup or something. And they've got these, 1 cent options that have so many of them. And then all of a sudden the company goes public and they're worth $3, $4, $5 million. And the hard part is diversifying then, not earlier. Because when your stock goes from $2 a share to $3 a share to $30 a share, you think it's going to go to 60. And there's plenty of stories and plenty of people listening today who are like, yeah, I remember that. That was me. I had stock in such and such a company. It went up, 10x and then got cut in half again. So the important piece with this is, from an investment standpoint, is to have a plan before you need it. You can't make a plan in the heat of battle. You're just reacting to what's going on around you versus saying, I've got this asset allocation, I've got these stock option awards, I've got these RSUs, I've got whatever, and here's my plan moving forward. Then you can execute the plan even when things are going better than you anticipated or worse than you anticipated. But I'm kind of curious as to what what ChatGPT suggested we should do with our money, or what they should do with their money.
They gave ChatGPT $1,000, and ChatGPT had this rationale. They said that for them, they would pick one stock from 7 different sectors: technology, healthcare, consumer discretionary, energy, financial services, real estate, and basic materials. The AI reasoned that such a portfolio would check several boxes. It would offer strong diversification. It would balance growth potential with stability, focus on industries likely to boom in the future. But it did go, single stock. Now, what's interesting about this before we get into it is that as we get into these percentages, it also looked like the AI immediately, went to modern portfolio theory, right? Immediately went to the things like the efficient frontier and diversification along lines that you would see a pro use. Like this is the AI didn't throw a dart. AI said individual stock to minimize your diversification or to concentrate more, but still keep all the different sectors and pick your winner in each. And this is what they did. 20%, so $200, they went to technology as the prime driver and bought Microsoft. So Microsoft is the number one position in AI's portfolio. Number 2, Johnson & Johnson, 150 or 15%. And they wrote that Johnson & Johnson is a stable healthcare company with a broad product portfolio of pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and its strong financials and consistent dividend payouts provide stability. With Microsoft, they said they're a technology giant because they have a presence in software, cloud computing, and AI, and have a diversified revenue stream. It's going to be still growing, solid long-term investment. Third, Amazon, 15% into Amazon, leader in e-commerce and cloud computing.
That doesn't count as technology.
I know, right?
I guess it's kind of an all in everything company now, right? It's tech and
I know.
It's also
Consumer discretionary Walmart. Technology. You can see the line blurred there. So AI might be overweighting then because of this pick toward technology. 15% to energy with a company called NextEra Energy, leading clean energy company, strong focus on renewables, looking at wind, solar, battery storage, which is what it's doing there. And then 15% to Visa, global leader in digital payments. I think everybody knows there. They also think that because it's innovating in payment technology, it's going to continue to be a crucial player in the growing digital economy. Then in real estate, goes to real estate, 10% to real estate. Prologis. Prologis is a major player in the logistics real estate market, benefiting for the growth of e-commerce and global supply chain. So when it comes to real estate, they pick an area, again, that is technology related and growing in the future, but still interesting that they've got real estate as 10% of the portfolio there. Basic materials, Freeport McMoran, and that's 10%, mostly focused on copper. So they're going to minerals, right? Mining often, and the things that they mine move a lot in lockstep. So 10% there. Interesting. 10% to real estate, 10% to basic materials, a bent toward technology, but individual companies. Any thoughts?
Well, it's really interesting because one of the things that that we kind of forget about is that whatever's hot right now doesn't necessarily always mean that it's going to be hot in the future. And for investors that have only been around for, let's say, the last 10, 12 years, there's been 2 major declines in that period of time. 18 and 19 was roughly about 20%. I'm sorry, 3 major declines. COVID, which was, for all intents and purposes, a very small blip on the radar, like when you look at the graph. And then 2022, where the market was down 20 odd percent and then quickly rebounded. All of this has been led by, in terms of the investment results, have been led primarily by large US tech companies. So it's okay to assume that this is all if you're, a 40-year-old and this has been the total sum of your investing career has been, well, I graduated college in 2010. I finally got my act together and started saving in 2012 or 2013. And the only thing that's gone up is, or the thing that's gone up the most is large US tech. But that doesn't mean it's always going to be the case. And what's great about an ETF or an index fund is that it automatically cycles through those different areas that are overperforming and underperforming. It's self-cleaning. If a stock doesn't perform anymore, if it's the Kodak of this generation, it just goes away, and you don't have to worry about finding out later that Progentrix or whatever company they said, isn't the thing anymore. And it was surpassed by another company. You're still represented in the market based on the overall economy. So you don't have to worry about going, I'm thinking about this stock going away, or you have to pay attention to it. It's really interesting that you had that they had that answer, because while you were talking, I put into my ChatGPT, I said, kind of the same thing. I said, you're the best investment advisor in the history of the world and have all the knowledge of finance from Benjamin Graham, Warren Buffett, the Nobel Prize winners at the University of Chicago. And you're a big fan of Ray Dalio, the hedge fund world. I just try to give him all the stuff, right? So you've got $1 million, a 40-year-old long-term time horizon. How should you invest it? This little paragraph of given long-term time horizon, yada, yada, yada. Here's how this ChatGPT says to do it. 70% in equities, and it should be 30% should be large U.S. stocks in the Vanguard S&P 500 fund, 20% in small cap in the iShares Russell 2000 fund, 10% in international Vanguard FTSE developed market, and 10% emerging market, 10% fixed income, 10% real estate, and 10% alternatives. And it prints out the dollar amounts in each, and it's basically all ETFs. So how funny is that they did it and got a list of individual stocks? We did it, gave it a little parameter, and we've got a list of ETFs.
Well, and their parameter, to be clear, was to beat ETFs. That was their goal in their parameter was, we don't want ETFs. We want to try to beat ETFs. But to your point, OG, I don't think this is going to win. And the reason I don't think so is that this avoids the hottest of the hottest stocks. You could maybe put Microsoft up there in some of the hottest stocks lately. Yeah. But these are bellwether stocks that perform. But I look at this portfolio, and don't get me wrong, in some ways it's deliciously boring. But on the other side of that, I just look at these and I'm like, these are kind of the names that have performed the past 5 years. I don't know that these are the names that are going to be the next 5 years. I wanted to see something, if I'm going to try to beat an index, I want to see something a little bit more edgy that I thought would have a shot at it. It feels,
this is like looking in the rearview mirror and going, this would have beat it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. This did it. This beat it. Well, okay. So I just updated mine. Let me tell you what it came back with. I said, I don't want to do ETFs. I want to beat the market. And it said, okay, so this is how you do it. Here's a detailed strategy. Here are the stocks that they recommend: Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Square, Roku, Etsy, Twilio, Taiwan Semiconductor, Shopify, Tennyson Holdings, Alibaba, JD.com, and a little bit of fixed income. Could you just name off the top 30 stocks of the last 3 years? Oh yeah, here you go.
This is the problem with AI picking your portfolio, is that AI is the best of human history, right? I mean, the great thing about AI is that it takes the things that the greatest thinkers are thinking and it puts it into a ball and goes here, or thought. Yeah, great point. Because it's not what they're thinking now, it's what they have thought. And these portfolios read like it's what people have thought.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be interesting though to run a test here. So I asked Kevin, who makes our 201 OG, to buy these stocks today and then track the major indices. And let's over just the next year, which is not a long enough time frame, but just over the next year, see if this portfolio created by AI beats the index starting today. I think that'll be fun.
Are we reimbursing Kevin for his losses? How's this? What are the rules for this? Or do we get the gains if he does better than the index? Do we donate the money to charity?
Did we accidentally give Kevin $1,000?
Wait, what happened? He's like,
what are we doing?
You lost it all. Like, wait, what? Yep, it's all gone. Lost it all.
Kevin, no, we're using one of those play sites. I don't remember exactly which site, but Kevin and I picked a play site that has no transaction fees, and he is buying them in a fantasy stock kind of thing. So we can just track how this portfolio would have done versus track the index. And he's going to follow that in our newsletter, the 201.
Okay, remind me in a year to review this.
Yeah, it's going to dive into this. The 201 will dive into this on a monthly basis, so you'll be able to see this contest. Also, the 201 comes out twice a week with ways to talk about diversification, modern portfolio theory, some of these terms that we use. Kevin dives deeper into those with the best curated links of places to find out more in each of these areas. But I think, OG, I don't think this is going to win. I'll go on record. I think the index is going to beat this portfolio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obviously what's done well in the past. You'll also get a kick out of this. I just grabbed, kept on looking at this while we're talking here. The fixed income section, it says to select convertible bonds from Tesla or Palo Alto Networks. So basically go buy debt of tech companies. And my favorite, you should have 10% real estate. Consider a platform like Fundrise.
Oh, God. Are you kidding me?
It says it right there.
Why the hell would you buy Fundrise?
And buy physical gold. That was the other thing.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man.